This is Distance from Center. I'm Horton. That is
Trent.
And we suddenly have a ton of news out of the blue. First of all, Trent, where are you today?
I'm in Granbury, Texas. I'm skiing with Sean and Evan Kraus up here for a couple days on the heels of U.S. Open, Junior U.S. Open.
Wow, how awesome is that? All right, well, I'm sitting in my side yard because there's no electricity in the house. But on to the news. So I want to tell you about my childhood, Trent. Every year when I was a kid, my dad took the whole family to U.S. Nationals, and the best part about U.S. Nationals was U.S. Open. I remember down there it was always Sammy versus Carl, and it seems like Sammy always did better at World Championships, and Carl was kind of the king of U.S. Open.
Yes.
But it was this ongoing battle, and it was awesome. And this year, it's back at Nationals, and I am so frickin' stoked.
This is the most important thing, and I made that claim a few years ago when they started doing America's Cup as a kind of a watered down, soft version of the U.S. Open. And I said, this is the most important thing to happen to USA Water Ski in the last 20 years, and now this is the most important thing to happen, or not to happen for USA Water Ski, for Jeff Surday. I mean, this is his. If this is his parting shot or his feather in his cap, this is the most important thing that's happened in 20 years. Well, I think we've, and I've long said this, we've done this great job of including or taking specific grassroots efforts, and I see the numbers increasing in terms of kids, certainly in our region. So, obviously that was important, but when you strip away, when you water down, when you neglect, the pro side of things, the elite of the elite, the benchmark that all these new juniors are supposed to be striving towards, when that starts to disappear, then a lot of that motivation disappears. So this is incredibly important, incredibly exciting. What do you know about the tournament itself?
Well, I think the one number that we need to keep in mind is $78,000 in prize money. That's what gets my heart pumping.
Me too.
It's, that's astounding. Our sport does not generally generate that kind of prize money. This is a motivator. These skiers, this is suddenly one of the biggest tournaments of the year, and for some of them, biggest tournaments of their careers. It's fantastic.
100%. And you were talking about, Carl Roberge, and that, as soon as you said that what came to my mind is, and I'm going to screw up the numbers, but it was like something like 15-time U.S. Open champion, and it meant nothing to me because by the time I was, coming of age, the U.S. Open didn't exist apart from the 07, 08, somewhere in there when it had a brief, reappearance, and it was an incredible event then, but it was, because it was already disconnected from the U.S. Nationals and because it had already disappeared for a while. So, could not be more excited about this. This is huge for this year's Nationals. It's huge for our sport, and it's going to be one of many to come. Hopefully, this is an annual thing again.
Right, and it's like you were saying. Hats off to Surday. So he went out and got two key sponsors, and I'm going to screw up the name of the first one. I believe it's Morley. They're an apparel manufacturer that's it's just good for their PR, and then. The presenting sponsor is OJ Props, which is obviously, it's on half of the boats or more than half of the boats in the whole sport. So super stoked to have both those sponsors on, buoying up the whole sport.
Yep.
All right. So just last thing before we move on. So it's going to be $12,000 cash prize for both men and women slalom trick jump, and then $3,000 for men and women's overall back at the U.S. Open. That also fires me up because I'm a, used to be old back in the day overall skier, and I think that's just fantastic.
Me too. Well done.
Okay. All right. So that brings us to the world overall record. Speaking of overall, the toughest achievement. I think it's harder than the slalom record. It's harder than the jump record. It's harder than the trick record to be a master of all three. Until yesterday, the official world overall record holder was Adam Settlemeyer. As of today, it's the young man they call Polish, Joel Poland. Just astounding.
Astounding.
I never met the man, Trent. I'm sure you have. Tell us about Polish.
Man, I'm in the fan category still, so I can't really speak to it other than I wake up every day scrolling through my feed, trying to find out what's Joel doing today. So absolutely incredible.
What?
I mean, phenomenal. Here's a guy who went and qualified himself separately in 2 different events for the Masters this year, which is profound, and had a very real shot at qualifying separately for all 3 events. He didn't qualify for slalom, which he absolutely could have, and then here's a tricker that was top seed going into the finals last weekend at the U.S. Masters. It's
No, you gotta stop calling him a tricker. Okay, his overall record is 4.5 at 39, which I understand is not a great score for him. He's kind of good for like 2 at 41, right?
I mean, that's his standard. So imagine how unattainable this record or unbreakable this record might have been had he just done his standard slalom score.
Right. And then he tricked 11,350 and jumped 224.
Yeah.
So I mean, a couple more balls in slalom. He's got that in the tank.
He's a tricker that jumps 230 and looks like he can run 41.
No, man, he's an overall skier. Stop calling him a tricker. I mean, his tricks is astounding, but it's like you're downgrading him. Stop calling Polish a tricker. He's the best overall skier in the world. He's now in league with, I mean, I can't go back any further than Sam Duval, but Sam Duval and Carl and in the modern era, Coleman and Settlemeyer and Dano, whose last name I can't say, and this kid is amazing. Suppose he's the first world overall record holder out of Great Britain.
I'm gonna guess no. There's too rich a history there. I'm gonna say no, but I don't know. But it's incredible.
Okay.
No, I mean here's a tricker that can jump 230 and looks like he's going to run 41. I mean, that's the best tricker I know. It's incredible.
And maybe a sidebar to this whole conversation is what an amazing group of young skiers that, like, maybe they're not famous to our audience quite yet, but there's the Hazelwood and the Daniello and a bunch of these guys that are bubbling under the surface. It's an exciting time.
It's incredible
at the top end of water skiing.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I think that brings us to our final item, unless you want to say something else about Polish.
Nope.
Is
nothing left to be said.
This weekend in the outskirts of Orlando, there is the King of Darkness Pro event, which thankfully will be broadcast by Waterski Broadcast Company. It is a night tournament with $30,000 in cash prize, half of which is going to the jumpers, and then to a cool trick event. I assume it's going to be non-traditional trick event. I'm not sure, and then a little bit of head-to-head slalom.
Yeah, very, very. I think it's only 2 competitors. I think the slalom is just exhibition only, no money. But
right.
But yeah. I mean,
no. There's a couple of bucks. I looked. There's like $500. Whatever.
Anyway, I mean, this is
yeah.
this is a night jump event, and I mean it's been around for probably 5 or 6 years, and a few different locations. It's settled in at Hancock the last few years, and it is the night jump event on the calendar, and it actually is night. I mean they're still going to be jumping around midnight apparently. So. Yeah, it's going to be. I guess the interesting thing is, Freddie just off of his 14th U.S. Masters title, obviously going to be the favorite. Then, but I mean, you got Joel Poland, the tricker who jumps 230 feet. And then like Rocket Man is going to be there. I'm not sure which of the Chileans are. I know Pipe's hurt, but I'm sure Rodrigo's going to be there. Igor, and then the big one is going to be, is Ryan's ankle serviceable yet, or is this, I'm thinking maybe this is going to be a long play for Worlds for him. Make sure that ankle is 100% ready by fall. But yes, and it's Waterski Broadcasting Company, so it's the webcast is going to be spot on. Make sure you watch it.
It's gonna be awesome, and I'm stoked because I'm on the West Coast, so it won't be midnight for me. I'll be able to watch the whole thing.
Nice.
All right, I think that's all I got. I want to say congratulations to the Dodds. Speaking of Ryan, you saw that they're expecting their second baby, and their first one is so cute. So congratulations to Brianna and Ryan. What else you got, Trent?
That's it. We got Junior U.S. Open coming up next weekend. We'll cover that one, and we'll cover this King of Darkness.
Where's Junior U.S.
San
Open?
Marcos, Texas.
Oh, so you'll be there.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, folks. Thank you, Trent. We'll be back soon.